Hello people, I'm JABY KOAY. This is a new section I'm trying out called Off Hours, where I talk about what games I'm playing or books I'm reading or YouTubers I'm watching and if I recommend it for you guys. I'm gonna talk about two things real quick, the Nintendo Switch and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So while I was in Thailand and India, my Nintendo Switch was waiting for me at my P.O. box back home. And so I was really excited to get home and unbox it and open it up. I was really surprised at the form factor, just how small it was. They tell you that online and you see photos, but when you see it in person, you're like, God damn, that's small. And the game is even more impressively small. I mean, it's the same size as basically a 3DS game. This is, just to give you guys perspective, here is Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, the Wii U disc. Like, goddamn, that is tiny, right? How do I feel about the Nintendo Switch? Let's start there. Do I regret the purchase? No, I do not. I'm very happy that I bought the Nintendo Switch. I wish that more games were available for it right now, other than just Breath of the Wild, because there's other games, but they're not worth picking up, honestly. You look at them and you're like, okay, yeah, whatever. I like the idea of being able to take this with me anywhere. I like the form factor. I actually ended up playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild more on this screen than on my TV screen. It was fun to play in bed, on the toilet, or on the couch. It was cool. It's a fun way to play. A lot of people complain about this joystick being right here. I eventually just got used to it. Most of my playing of Zelda was on these controllers. Eventually, I got one of these once it was finally available at a local store. This thing is goddamn expensive, by the way. It took some getting used to, but I can see how this is the more preferred way to play for most people over the course of a long duration of playing. Breath of the Wild. Let's talk about that for a hot second. I, overall, enjoyed the game. I enjoyed it a lot. I think that I enjoyed it more than I was expecting to. I was intimidated by the game initially because when Shigeru Miyamoto was talking about it in a promo, he was showing the game to someone and said, you see that mountain back there? You can go there. You can go anywhere in this game that you can see. And that's not entirely true, but it's mostly true. I didn't like hearing that because to me that meant that they just created a huge map with a lot of traveling as opposed to a smaller map that's more densely packed with fun things to do. As a grown-up with responsibilities and whatnot, it's like, it's hard to think about just sitting there walking or pressing the forward stick and walking around for hours on end trying to get from point A to point B. The game wasn't entirely like that. It was really, really fun. If you're into Skyrim, if that's your cup of tea, Skyrim is not my cup of tea, but if Skyrim is your cup of tea, definitely pick this up. It's like Skyrim Light, that's what everyone's saying. I would say it's like Skyrim, but with a little bit more quirky personality. It's fun, it's got a lot of fun aspects to it, and there are aspects of it I don't like at all. Like, I'm not into worrying about my temperature of whether I'm too hot or too cold or cooking or climbing. Climbing got more fun as the game went on, but climbing will never be as fun as it was in Infamous. That's what I always compare things to, and it's just like climbing I found to be very tedious, especially in the beginning. But over time, it got to be less tedious. It's just annoying when you eat shit. It's like when you fall down and then Link ends up rolling even more because the game's realistic now. Overall, it was just a fun game, and if you want to spend, if you're in the States, if you want to spend $60 on one game, that'll keep you occupied for 150 plus hours. I didn't play it that long, but I know you can. Like, this is a worthwhile pickup. Definitely check it out if you've got the time. And there are other aspects of it, like the amiibos, I forgot to mention that. If you are light on supplies and whatnot, you can, use amiibos as another aspect of the game to hit you with more fish or meat or a horse. It helps to have amiibos, I'm not gonna lie. As a lazy gamer who doesn't like mining for shit, this is a great way to just quickly resupply yourself. I miss the old form of Zelda where you had multiple bosses and a lot of different weapons that you discover over the course of the game, whereas Breath of the Wild is fewer bosses with a lot of shrines to collect spirit orbs, which enhance your heart and your stamina. It's a trade-off. Instead of having a bunch of bosses, you got fewer bosses with a lot of mini puzzles spread throughout the map. I personally like the older style better, but that's me. This style, this version of Zelda, I think is here to stay because it was so well received. It's just gonna be more of that. In the next installment of Zelda, you'll have Link worrying about having to take a shit and finding toilet paper, because if he doesn't find toilet paper, he'll get constipated. I'm worried about to see where the next, what new elements they bring in the next installment of Zelda. Hopefully it's nothing that egregious. Still a worthwhile purchase. I like it. For the money I spent and the amount of gaming I got out of it already, I'm like, that's pretty cool. With Mario, you know you're gonna have hours and hours of gameplay there as well, and Mario Kart. So even if you just buy the Nintendo only games, you'll still have a good time, I think, in my opinion. Let me know if you got a Switch and how you're feeling about it. I'm JABY KOAY. Peace out.